Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for the arcade. So,
We
yeah.
apologize to anyone wearing earphones.
You're probably more familiar with the Mega Drive game. However, we'll do that at a later time.
Move animation.
Let's do the original arcade game. That's a much better game, actually.
Because it's not a collectathon?
It was never released, sadly. Game concept and design by Michael Jackson. So there you go. This is a video game designed by him. And look at that awesome sprite of...
What studio was behind this particular version? Sega itself.
An internal team at Sega.
Oh god.
Okay, so let's insert... every time you insert a coin, every time you insert a coin, Michael goes woohoo. So... Round 1, Cavern. Alright, so the story is Joe Pesci is kidnapping kids because he's evil. So Michael has to use his Dragon Ball powers to save them. There you go. That's the basic story.
This is probably a better Dragon Ball movie than Dragon Ball.
The ending. Wow, I gotta say, this prequel to The Irishman is weird.
So yeah, this is so yeah. Alright, you know how the Mega Drive game is basically an explory platformer where you save kids? Not in this game. This game is a nice dramatic beat 'em up. And yes, just like the Mega Drive, you can dance and kill all the enemies on screen. And look at that, you can save the kids. However, they're just there to give you bonuses. They're not obligatory. Oh, look, it's Bubbles.
Now the Genesis version will have an argument.
And now, Mecha Jackson.
Oh yeah.
So wait, you collect bubbles, and that's how he becomes Mecha Jackson.
Dibs, you ignorant, Dibs. Don't you see? Bubbles is capable of turning me into Mecha Jackson. You're ignorant, Dibs. Alright, round 2, Amusement Quarter. Wow, this game is pretty short too.
Okay.
Imagine, that is some.
That's all that Michael had to say.
That is some strange fare. I'm going to kidnap all these children. Woo! I can't do it.
Let's play Sega.
Sorry, Joe Pesci, but you cannot defeat Michael Jackson, for he has the power of key energy. Apparently.
He just killed him. Pedro, he just killed him.
So yeah.
He rose again from that, Dwibs.
He rose like Dwibs. You cannot kill Michael Jackson. He will just rise again as a shooting star. No, I'm not kidding. That's how he revives himself in this game, as a shooting star. Yeah. Basic, everybody. It's an isometric beat 'em up, as you can see, and it was actually idealized and designed by Michael Jackson himself. AKA, he stood around telling the developers what kind of game he thought it should be. So basically, this was Michael. So what we're seeing here is actually Michael's original vision, rather than whatever the hell Sega thought was a better idea to put on the Mega Drive for some reason.
I could imagine how hard the animators had to work to do his dancing.
They probably watched the videos various times and just mimicked it.
Maybe MJ showed them his dancing and that.
Definitely possible.
Oh.
Fun fact, did you know that Sonic shoes were actually based off of Michael Jackson shoes?
Yeah, Mr. Jackson, I'm not sure why you want us to make a level where people throw barrels at you from up above.
No, don't you see?
What happens in
It's all about showing the inner struggle that my life was.
Or people throwing barrels at you?
Yes, it's a good representation of people being ignorant, y'all, and not knowing the true thing about the man that is Michael Jackson.
What the fuck we were doing?
Sure.
The way they move their heads. They're like
how do you expect to slash anyone like that?
Oh no, they've got tables!
It's a good thing we have magic on our side.
I know, right?
That's how Michael Jackson gets out of a lot of situations in his music videos, believe it or not.
Hang on. Pedro, is there a level in this game where it's that scene from the movie where he's just running away for a long time?
No.
Well, Dwibs, this is actually the movie that's based off of.
Yeah, this is based on, both games are based on the movie, yeah. However, like I said, this is Michael's original vision rather than the other thing.
Okay, why do some of the kids give you as power up the Danish flag?
Wait, you mean the legs icon? That's a dancing icon.
The cross.
Oh, the cross. That's health. That's health. That's health for you.
Weird. It's unusually shaped.
I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, and now I'm Mecha Jackson, the king of Robopop.
Thank you, Bubbles. Now I shall show them the right and the wrong.
By killing them.
Yes.
True justice.
I'm going to dish out justice on you by shooting you out. Anyway, yeah, I have to wonder though.
What the fuck? You vacuum?
Oh no!
It looks like a vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum cleaner.
Dark Energy reboot of a Teletubby.
Joe Pesci managed to get not only people there, but also fucking objects on his side out to get Michael Jackson.
It's okay though. Michael has pixie dust on his side.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, it does make you wonder. Games like Sonic 3D Blast and Light Crusader, and even others, prove that the Mega Drive was perfectly capable of handling games like this, isometric perspective. So you have to wonder, why didn't they just port the game as it was, instead of making a new one that is way less fun to play?
I mean, I guess it's a matter of perspective. I actually do enjoy the Genesis version as well. In terms of them wanting to make a different version, my guess is probably because at the time people were more used to the side-scroller sort of genre thing. Like, sure, the Mega Drive was capable of it, but I guess we should keep into mind what the players were more used to on a home console at the time.
I guess. It's just that I'm gonna have to agree with James Rolfe. Like, the big problem with the Mega Drive game is that it's so redundant. Just, it's like it takes so long just to... It's not fun at all to go on this...
It's a lot more of a collectathon, essentially.
I get that. It's just that it's nowhere near as fun as something like DuckTales, or like it's just so going around beating the crap out of bad guys. That's a lot more fun, if you ask me.
Although it's strange, because you have people here that look like mooks, but then you have people that look like actual civilians, so everyone just hates Michael for some reason.
They're all ignorant, Shiroi. They're all ignorant.
Don't you see? They just need to leave him alone.
Yeah.
It's like one of his songs says.
Just leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Even weaponize the manhole.
One thing that I've always loved about Moonwalker, the movie even, is how throughout most of the movie he's always in his Smooth Criminal outfit, since that's my favorite music video.
And he can use his dance moves to possess
Let me put it like this.
Well, of course, Shiroi, let's face it. Let's face it, Shiroi. Shiroi, let's face it. When Michael starts dancing with his music, everybody cannot help but dance along. Let's face it, that's kind of how it is.
Michael Jackson was possibly one of the first people who you could ever see making a fighting game just based off of his dancing. Like, he was so varied and talented with it.
For those of you... Sorry,
it probably helps that's how a lot of his music videos go. Some jerk is trying to attack him, so he uses his dancing skills to get out of it.
For those of you out there who are maybe younger, you have to think back to the 80s. Back in the 80s, believe it or not, Michael Jackson was a god. I'm not even kidding. Every single song he released was a gigantic hit. Everybody, it's not even one of those cases where, usually when there are musicians and even artists in general, there's of course people who like, people who dislike. No. Back in the 80s, you'd have to, dig deep and make a back search just to find someone who didn't like Michael Jackson's music and dancing. It was a complete phenomenon. Go ahead.
He was known as the King of Pop for a reason, to the point where even after the 80s and 90s, people still did call him the King of Pop, because he was just that good. Heck, even with allegations or whatnot against him, that didn't stop him from being flipping awesome in music videos as late as the early 2000s and whatnot. And even though he died, would you believe that his final concert, well, actually, no, not even the concert, the rehearsal for his concert was awesome enough to make a DVD out of. It was that good.
You see, guys, that's how powerful I am. I can use my magical hat to kill people.
Also, Robodog.
Okay. You want to talk about magic? I'm still trying to learn the magic behind the amazing lean shoes for Smooth Criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing.
It's probably the same kind of magic that allows John Cleese to do the silly walk. It's just...
Yeah, and believe it or not, folks, those are all practical. All those dance moves you see him do, those are actually made possible by the man himself.
Well, there was no CGI back in the day, so it's not like there was any other way, was there?
Exactly.
Alright. Oh. There you go. See, you see, when he revives, it comes as a shooting star. Alright. Dwebs, do your best Joe Pesci being angry and evil scientist voice.
Yeah, again. That's what he does in the movie, really.
All it does in the movie is yell because he's the bad guy. That's what bad guys do.
See, guys, he wants to be the most famous criminal ever by getting kids hooked onto drugs. Because people that are evil do evil things, and that's as far as Michael Jackson thought the story out. And might as well address this right now. Just like the Mega Drive game. Well, the released version anyway. Yes, unfortunately, again, a graveyard level in a Michael Jackson game, and we don't have Thriller. I cannot even begin to describe how criminal this is. But seriously,
okay, criminal.
Allow me to address that. Basically, the original plan on both games actually was to have Thriller. However, there were some issues with the rights for that specific song.
Here's the thing, guys. Thriller is literally Michael Jackson's #1 tune. Like, to the point where chances are you do the dance, people will recognize it. You play like literally the first beat from it, people will recognize that tune. It has so much in it. Arguably the best bars you'll hear from Michael Jackson, and Vincent Flipping Price in it as well.
Yeah.
It is hard to top.
It's sort of for me, it's my personal number 3 MJ track with Heal the World at number 2 and Smooth Criminal as my top pick.
Let me put this into perspective, folks. Part of the reason people find Smooth Criminal so amazing is that it was arguably Michael Jackson's first song that people considered a contender to Thriller. Thriller is just that powerful.
I will still argue that I'm gonna have to also argue that for as amazing as the Thriller music video is, I'm gonna have to say, the Smooth Criminal music video to me just edges it out, because to me that's music video perfection.
From the movie?
Yeah, the Smooth Criminal music video from the movie, yes.
Let me put it like this. Thriller is my favorite Michael Jackson song, but Smooth Criminal is my favorite Michael Jackson video.
Definitely. Not that the Thriller's video is no slouch either. It's an amazing music video as well. Fun fact: it was directed by Martin Scorsese. Oh, no, the bad one was directed by Martin Scorsese. Sorry, I forgot that.
That does not surprise me. Who directed Thriller? I wonder.
These noises.
I don't know who directed Thriller.
God forbid it be Guillermo del Toro.
I don't think he was even directing at the time, Jova.
I'm gonna check in the meantime.
Where was basically the primary problem with Thriller was this: the original plan on both games actually was to have Thriller in the graveyard level. And guess what? There is in the beta version of the that eventually got leaked into the internet many years later. Thriller was indeed in there. However, they had to cut it out in the released versions because unfortunately they couldn't quite secure the rights like they were hoping. So they had to remove Thriller and replace it with Another Part of Me from the Bad album.
Anyway, the director was John Landis.
Oh, John Landis.
Do you remember?
Okay.
Yeah, do you remember the director of stuff like Blues Brothers or the Twilight Zone movie?
Nice.
That was the one that wasn't that part that had that accident.
I don't remember that.
Me neither.
Also, anime stuff like that.
I looked at his Wikipedia, and apparently, when they were filming, something happened, and it killed a couple of child extras and one of the actors.
Damn.
My issue. Okay, hold on. Okay, my issue with the Mega Drive game personally, and why I prefer this version a lot better, is that it's just more straightforward, and I personally think that it works a lot better for. And again, like I said, this is Michael's original vision, and I'm always up for playing the artist's original vision instead of.
I can also see that so far, at the very least, compared to other arcade games, this is a tad easier. compared to.
Well, I'm pretty sure Michael told Sega, I want kids to play this game, so make it easy.
Keep out, no trespassing.
This game was clearly not just that, Tail. Not only is the game easy, it's also short. I'm pretty sure this was meant. Michael designed this to be a very easily digestible
What
game.
the fuck?
Joe Pesci, Tail. Apparently,
It's a ghost cannon machine.
of course, Tail, because there's nothing better for Joe Pesci to do on a Friday night, I guess.
Oh, thank
He
God.
hates Michael so much he's gonna throw everything at him,
Okay.
including dead.
At the very least, they at least have the common sense to have the ghost do the Thriller dance when, Michael induces the dance. Like, that would have been just criminal not to have that.
Fortunately, he's no match for the king of Robopop. There you go, see?
I shall return.
Alright.
Yeah, that was weird even for me.
Evil Fortress.
Well, so now we're in Joe Pesci's Evil Fortress.
I'm sure this will be a lovely place.
Have you guys, just speaking of Joe Pesci, have you guys seen The Irishman?
Not yet.
Not yet. Alright. So yeah, this is actually a reverse. This time we're actually going back and going inside the Evil Fortress instead of chasing Joe Pesci. So basically, we've kind of been going in circles, it seems.
I guess it sort of makes sense, seeing as how the segment for Smooth Criminal does technically start at the Evil Fortress after doing a rendition of The Hills Are Alive. God dang it.
Mm-hmm.
Of all things.
Alright. Time to beat the crap out of machines with my... whatever the hell I'm using.
Kyle.
Also, there are these robots with thrusters,
Joe's very creative today.
Down with your bad self, you machines, especially that one that did a dick thrust.
Seriously.
No,
Why pelvic thrusting?
I question the practicality of some of these machines.
Speaking of, on the subject of Michael Jackson songs, as catchy as "Leave Me Alone" is, that song just comes off as one of those. There's one of those things where, I mean, if you want people to leave you alone, just don't say anything. Singing a song about "leave me alone," that's just going to draw more attention.
Well, it's because it was because
a lot of artists tend to write what they're feeling into song.
Yeah. Not to mention that it was also because people just won't leave him alone about the whole face surgery thing, like they were constantly talking about like why he did it or whatever, and like what were the implications of it and whatever, and Michael just told him just shut up.
People still talk about that shit.
Mm-hmm. All right, and we go, and I got 2 icons now.
Yes, that is my name.
Oh yeah, Thrust.
Don't mess with my hat, bitch.
Seriously, Michael's hat may be even more powerful than Cappy.
Let's just see, Joe. But Michael's hat is the original Cappy.
True that.
Cappy wishes.
I love how Joe Pesci's elevator has a spider because evil, I guess. Well, that's the thing. Bad guys do bad things and have evil-looking things, and that's as far as Michael thought this through.
I mean, I guess you don't get much more evil than a guy who wants to expose kids to drugs.
Yes, I still fail to realize what exactly he's accomplishing by getting every kid in the world addicted to drugs, but whatever.
Get them while they're young, so that he'll control the entire drug market, I guess.
I guess.
So do we know who did the rearrangements for the?
I think I know who did the Mega Drive version, but I don't know. Let me check.
IMDb doesn't say anything about it, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
More vacuum cleaners.
Yes.
It's like a corrupted version of that vacuum guy from the Teletubbies.
Nunu.
Like Tio mentioned.
Yeah.
Nunu.
The,
his name.
Okay, the arcade versions remixes were done by Toru Nakabayashi, and the Mega Drive versions remixes were done by Hiroshi Kubota and Takayuki Nakamura. Sega composers, basically, from the time.
Wow,
Can you give me-
make the robots dance.
Can you type it in the name? I may check
Wait, what the hell was that?
what
What the hell was that robot? What the hell was that robot at the bottom doing though?
Don't ask her.
Yeah, but yeah, managed to thrust back and forth. I mean, damn, that is one
Like,
amazing.
how do the mechanics of these things work? Like,
I want you to
Wait,
make a
ignorant.
handgun
You-
that
I'm
looks
like
like a
questioning the
dick.
logic
Stop-
of dancing robots in the
Stop
Michael
it.
Jackson game.
Stop being ignorant, Shiro. Don't you see? Oh, even robots have the right to dance.
well, maybe he shares some of his ideas with Eggman because for some reason his robots can have attraction.
So yeah,
Yeah,
final,
but not to mention, look at that final boss. It looks like an Eggman robot.
yes, final boss is Joe Pesci in a spider robot.
Giant mechanical spider.
Sure. I guess.
Hey, that sounds like a good idea for Wild Wild West.
Come on. Oh,
He came.
come on, Joe, dance with me.
Wow, the spider doesn't
You're no
dance.
fun.
That's how evil he is, Jova. He won't dance along with us. He must.
Well, okay.
Well, now he has to die.
This means that you have to die now because you're ignorant. There you go.
Toru Nakabayashi, there you go. Ah. He was mostly responsible for
And
Golden
Michael
No.
Michael turns into a spaceship and goes away.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh god!
And
Wow,
I guess
he
Joe Pesci
said-
died in the explosion. Okay, that's it.
And we're flying away.
Wasn't that such a wonderful journey, kid?
I must go now. My planet needs me.
Oh, look at that, Pedro. Takayuki Nakamura.
Mr. Big's evil
Sorry,
plot has been
Pedro.
foiled with the destruction of his deadly doomsday weapon, the gigantic laser cannon, and if his massive fortress reduced to cinders, he is no longer a threat to mankind. But what of Michael? All that is known is that he was last seen soaring away from the crumbling enemy stronghold, heading towards the distant horizon. And the children that he saved, well, they're smiling because deep down in their hearts they know that Michael will return one day to share with them another wondrous and magical adventure.
Or he'll show up in like a few minutes to take them to a little surprise in a dark alleyway.
And fortunately, it turned out to just be a concert. So, all right, now they're showing the music that played during the various. So,
Buy my music.
Look at that, Pedro. The Takayuki
Or you don't
Nakamura
own it.
composed also for the Asterix arcade video game.
oh, there you go then.
Cute.
All songs written and composed by Michael Jackson.
Tapes and recorders. Tapes and recorders.
Records, you mean?
Those were the days.
Truly, he was the king of pop.
Looks like Sonic's walking.
Well, remember, Bibbs, Sonic's
matter
feet were inspired by Michael Jackson. So,
Yeah.
Sonic's design was a weird mesh of ideas.
What the hell's
It
going on with
was.
Michael there?
I'm basking I'm basking in the glory of my music, Bibbs. Don't be ignorant.
The
He's
concept
an
that-
artist, Wibbs. They do weird things.
It's beyond your comprehension.
Oh, sorry, game over. So is that we failed? Sorry, game over.
I never understood why arcade games always end with that.
Alright, so that was Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for the arcade. It's a bit too short, and it's pretty easy, and yeah, in terms of beat-em-ups, yeah, it can be a bit repetitive. But who cares? You're beating the crap out of gangsters with Michael Jackson music in the background and with magic. So, whatever. This is again, it's running purely on novelty factor. The fact that you get to play as Michael Jackson beating the shit out of Joe Pesci and his goons. So, that's fine by me. Like, as a short burst game, it can be a very enjoyable one because the remixes are very good. Not as good as the Mega Drive version, but there's still really good remixes on their own merit anyway, so I'm fine with it. It's a shame that we couldn't get Thriller in here, but oh well. Don't worry, guys. When I do the Mega Drive version, I'll do the beta version so we can hear Thriller in there. So,
Lovely.
so yeah, that was it. Teo, what do you think of the game?
It's easy enough, but it works for the game's advantage. I've seen also how the Genesis Mega Drive version works, and between the two, this seems to be the more fun, and accessible of the two. I'm not sure about the whole, this would have been easy to port. Maybe it was a problem connected to our limitation. We would have to downgrade it a bit too much or something like that. I don't know. But again, I'm not too much into these technical details.
I would argue that Light Crusader looks pretty much exactly on par with this one.
Yes, but look at there's a bigger distance in terms of how the quote-unquote fictional camera is positioned. This one seems to be a bit more closer.
Oh yeah, obviously some of the tighter animations would have been a bit downgraded, but I still think it would have been perfectly possible to make a perfectly serviceable port of this.
For the rest, it's Moonwalker. It's batshit insane, and he loves it. So why not? Even with the weird design for the robots and Mr. Big yelling all the time. Watch the movie if you haven't. It's quite the experience. But yeah, nice enough. Next.
Sure.
Like you said, it's a novelty game, but it's a lot of fun, at least. It's very weird and wacky, and it does its job, I guess.
All right, Dwebs.
It's a video game with Michael Jackson in it. What else did I expect?
Well, okay, what did you think of the music? Like, I need to ask. All right.
I mean, unfortunately, I couldn't really hear the music really well.
Well, have you heard Smooth Criminal, Bad, Another Part of Me, Billie Jean, and Beat It?
Yes.
Then you know what the music is. That's the song. That's the soundtrack.
Yeah.
There you go, then. Except in 16-bit. Anything else you want to say, or?
Shaman.
Yeah. All right, Jova, close us out.
Shaman!
Yeah, close us out, Jova.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can I say? It's a game where you play as Michael Jackson and beat up criminals to your heart's content, with key energy abilities and the ability to turn into a giant robot thanks to the help of your monkey.
Those drugs are really good, it seems. I want
Also,
some.
you can fight dick-thrusting robots.
As you do.
But of course, the music is good and on point here and there. Really do enjoy the remixes, though I do prefer the Genesis's take on them. I can see how this would be considered more fun than the Genesis version. Mind you, I don't think the Genesis version is terrible, just that it can get a bit more repetitive here and there. Overall, I enjoy both games, but I can see why people would enjoy this game better. Overall, though, it does its job well. Gives you that Michael Jackson experience and everything.
All right, everybody. So that was Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Tune in when we eventually get around to the Genesis game. Why not?
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
Ta-ta.